Somewhere right now, someone is holding a device that changed the world. You are holding it. Or you are near one. Or you built your entire career around one. And none of it exists without one man making 7 decisions that nobody around him believed in. He was adopted by a working-class family in California. He dropped out of college after 6 months. He was fired from the company he built in his parents' garage. He spent 12 years in the wilderness building things nobody wanted to buy. Then he came back, and in 12 years turned a company with 90 days of cash left into the most valuable brand in human history. Apple is worth $3 trillion today, more than the GDP of the United Kingdom, more than France and Canada combined. 7 levels, 7 decisions. This is what happens when you actually make all of them. Level 1, the dropout. It is 1972. You are 17 years old. You have just been accepted to Reed College in Portland, Oregon. Reed is one of the most expensive colleges in America. It costs more per year than your father Paul earns at his job. Your adoptive parents have been saving since the day you were born to give you this. You go anyway. 6 months later, you drop out. Not because you are failing, not because you are unhappy, because you are watching your parents spend money they do not have on classes you do not believe in. You tell the college you are leaving, but you do not go home. You stay on campus for 18 more months. You sleep on the floors of friends' dorm rooms. You return empty Coca-Cola bottles for 5-cent deposits to buy food. Every Sunday, you walk 7 miles to get 1 free meal at a Hare Krishna temple. This is not poverty you are trapped in. This is a choice you are making. Because dropping out freed you from required courses. Now you can audit any class that actually interests you. One of those classes is calligraphy. You learn about serif and sans serif typefaces, about the spacing between letters, about what makes type beautiful. It is completely impractical. You have no plan for how this could ever matter. 10 years later, that calligraphy class becomes the typography of the first Macintosh, the first personal computer in history with multiple beautiful fonts. No calligraphy class, no beautiful Mac, no design philosophy that defines Apple for the next 40 years. Most people who drop out treat it as a failure to recover from. You treat it as a permission slip. You are 23, no degree, no money. A best friend named Wozniak, who is the most gifted engineer you have ever met. Level 2, the garage. It is 1976. Wozniak has built something extraordinary. A personal computer that a regular person can actually use without an engineering degree. Wozniak plans to give the design away for free to his computer club. You tell him no. You tell him this is a product. People will pay for this. You sell your Volkswagen van. Wozniak sells his HP calculator. Together, you raise $1,300. Apple Computer. Founded April 1st, 1976. Your parents' garage in Los Altos, California. A local computer store called Byte Shop orders 50 units at $500 each. You have 30 days to build 50 computers you have not yet started. You negotiate 30 days of interest-free credit from a parts supplier. You assemble every computer in the garage and deliver them 4 days early. You collect payment. You pay the supplier. You keep the profit. You have just invented a business model with $1,300 and a garage. In 1977, you launched the Apple II, the first mass-market personal computer. It has a real keyboard, a color display, and software that actual businesses can use. A program called VisiCalc becomes the world's first spreadsheet. Small business owners can suddenly replace their accountant. The Apple II sells for 6 full years and generates $200 million in revenue. December 12, 1980. Apple goes public. The largest IPO since Ford Motor Company in 1956. You are 25 years old. Before noon, you are worth $250 million. Most people stop here. They buy things. They protect the wealth. They get careful. You immediately start spending on the most ambitious project of your career. Level 3, the rise. It is 1979. Xerox has a research lab called PARC. Inside PARC, they have built the most advanced computer technology on Earth. Xerox does not know what to do with it. In exchange for $1 million of pre-IPO Apple stock, they give you 3 days of access.
What you see in those 3 days changes everything. A graphical user interface, a mouse that moves a cursor on screen. Windows you can open and close with a click. You pull your lead engineer aside. They have no idea what they have. We are going to take this to the world. You go back to Apple and redirect an entire team onto a new project called Macintosh. Your philosophy becomes 3 words. Technology should disappear. The machine should do the complicated work invisibly, so the person thinks only about what they want to create. The Macintosh team works 100-hour weeks for 2 fucking years. You drive everyone beyond what they believe they are capable of. Some people quit. The ones who stay produce work that surprises even themselves. You put a pirate flag above the building and tell them they are artists, not engineers. January 24th, 1984. Super Bowl halftime. Apple airs an advertisement that the board tried to cancel the night before. It runs once and is never broadcast again. 40 years later, it is still ranked the greatest commercial in television history. The Macintosh launches. 50,000 units in the first 74 days. You are 30 years old. On the cover of every major magazine. The most famous person in Silicon Valley. You have already changed computing forever, and the board of the company you built is about to ask you to leave. Level 4. The fall. It is 1985. John Sculley is Apple's CEO. He is the man you recruited personally from PepsiCo. You asked him, do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugar water, or do you want to change the world? He chose changing the world. Now he is choosing himself. Sculley goes to the board. He tells them to choose between you and him. The board votes. They strip you of all operational responsibility. You still have the title chairman, but no team, no project, no power. You are 30 years old, worth over $200 million, and you have just been fired from the company you started in your parents' garage. You describe it publicly as devastating, like someone punched you in the stomach. You still own Apple stock. You have to watch every decision they make without you. 5 months later, you make a decision that shocks everyone who knows you. You sell all but 1 share of your Apple stock. You keep exactly 1. So you still receive the annual report. So you can never look away from what they do with what you built. You take $70 million. You start completely over. You found a company called Next. Goal? A computer so advanced, it makes the Mac look like a first draft. You hire brilliant engineers. You spend on every detail. The logo alone costs $100,000. The fall is not the end of your story. The fall is the tuition. Level 5. The wilderness. In 1986, you spend $50 million buying a small graphics unit from George Lucas at Lucasfilm. $5 million for the technology. $45 million to fund its future. The unit makes short animated films that nobody is currently paying for. Every advisor you have tells you this makes no sense. You name it Pixar. For 10 years, you personally fund it through losses exceeding $50 million more. You nearly sell it 3 times. Microsoft wants it. Disney wants it. Each time you pull back at the last moment. You cannot fully explain why, except that the technology tells you to wait. Meanwhile, Next is struggling. The computer is extraordinary. It is also $5,000. Tim Berners-Lee invents the World Wide Web on a Next computer in 1991. But the mass market never comes for Next. In the press, you are a cautionary tale. The genius who flew too close to the sun. You read the articles. You keep working. You are learning things your first run at Apple never forced you to learn. How to lead when you cannot dominate by personality alone. How to separate what is technically brilliant from what people actually need. You also fall in love, get married, and have children during these years. The wilderness is not only failure, it is where you become a complete person. In 1995, Pixar releases Toy Story, the first feature-length computer-animated film in history. $362 million at the box office, against a $30 million budget. You take Pixar public immediately after. Your total investment becomes $1.2 billion on the first day. You are a billionaire. The wilderness created a billionaire. While Pixar is making you rich, Apple is collapsing. 3 CEOs since you left. Market share fallen from 16% to 4%. 90 days of cash remaining. Bankruptcy paperwork being drafted. Then someone picks up the phone and calls the person they fired a decade ago. Level 6. The Return. December 1996. Apple acquires Next for $427 million. On paper, they are buying the operating system. Everyone in Silicon Valley knows they are buying you. Within 6 months, every executive who ran Apple without you is gone. The board offers you the full CEO compensation package. You tell them you will take $1 per year, stock options only. This signals to every single person at Apple that you win only when the company wins. Apple has 350 products. You review every single one. Then you cancel 290 of them. You keep 10. We will do a few things, and we will do them better than anyone on earth has ever done anything. You call Bill Gates and ask him to invest $150 million in Apple. Gates agrees. The audience at Macworld boos when he appears on the satellite screen. You turn to the audience and tell them to grow up. Apple must win by building great things, not by watching others fail. 1998. You launch the iMac, translucent, colorful, friendly, nothing like any computer that has ever existed. 278,000 units in the first 6 weeks. Apple posts its first profitable quarter in 3 years. 2001. You launch the iPod. 1,000 songs in your pocket. The music industry thinks you are helping them fight piracy. You are actually building the hardware and software ecosystem that will make the iPhone possible. The iPod is not the destination. The iPod is the infrastructure. 2001. You open the first Apple store in Tysons Corner, Virginia. Every retail analyst says it will fail within 2 years. You are not building a store. You are building a place where people first touch the future. Today, there are 522 Apple stores in 25 countries. Level 7. The Throne. 2003. You are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. The doctors tell you the tumor is operable. They tell you to go into surgery immediately. You wait 9 months. You try alternative treatments first. When you finally agree to surgery, the cancer has spread. You will call this publicly. Years later, the biggest mistake of your life. You keep working. In 2005, you give the most famous graduation speech in Stanford history. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Do not be trapped living someone else's life. January 9th, 2007. You walk onto a stage in San Francisco. You tell the audience you're going to introduce 3 revolutionary products: an iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, a breakthrough internet device. Pause. Then you tell them it is all one product. You pull an iPhone from your pocket. The screen is entirely glass. No keyboard. You scroll with your finger. The Nokia CEO calls it niche. The BlackBerry CEO says it needs a physical keyboard. Apple ships the iPhone 6 months later, 6 million in year 1, 22 million in year 2. By 2012, the iPhone alone generates more revenue than all of Microsoft combined. The niche product becomes the most profitable single product in the history of capitalism. 2010. You launch the iPad. Analysts say there is no market for it. Apple sells 300 million iPads over the following decade. That same year, Apple surpasses Microsoft in market cap for the first time since 1989. June 2011. Your final product from a stage. You are visibly ill. Your clothes are too large for your body, but your voice is still precise. Your vision is still total. The audience gives you a standing ovation before you say a single word. They know. Everyone knows. You step down as CEO on August 24th, 2011. 46 days later, on October 5th, you die. Your family is with you. Apple is worth $350 billion on the day you die. Today, it is $3 trillion. You built something so strong it tripled after you were gone. That is not a legacy. That is architecture. Level 1. Drop out before you are certain, because waiting for certainty is just a sophisticated way of never starting. Level 2. See what others built and understand its real value before they do. Act before anyone can talk you out of it. Level 3. Drive people beyond what they believe they can achieve. Not everyone survives the pace. The work survives. Level 4. When they fire you from the thing you built, start over with everything you learned and none of what you did wrong. Level 5. Fund what nobody understands for 10 years because your instinct says the technology matters more than current results show. Level 6. When you return to power, cut almost everything. Focus is not about saying yes to the right things. Focus is saying no to almost all of them. Level 7. Keep working when you are dying. Build something that runs without you. Leave knowing it will outlast you. Right now, somewhere there is a technology that looks like a toy. Serious people are explaining why the market is not ready, why the battery will not last, why the price is too high. Somewhere, someone is looking at that toy the way you looked at a mouse moving on a screen at Xerox PARC in 1979. 7 levels, 7 decisions, none obvious in the moment. All available to anyone paying close enough attention. 0 to throne. If this made you think differently about something you are building right now, leave a comment with the level that hit hardest. Subscribe for the next one. In 1976, you were building computers in a garage. In 2007, you put the internet in everyone's pocket. Reed College had one of the best calligraphy programs in the United States at the time. The professor Robert Palladino had studied at a Trappist monastery where monks spent decades perfecting letter forms. You sit in on his class even though you are not enrolled. You absorb everything. Wozniak is the engineer. You are the editor. He builds what is possible. You define what is necessary. Your first business lesson: never need money before you have earned it. The Bite Shop order taught you that. By 1978, Apple has 50 employees. By 1979, it has 350. By IPO, it has 1,000. The Mac project team signs the inside of their computers, like artists signing a painting. You tell them, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. The Mac ships with fonts named after cities: Chicago, Monaco, Geneva, Cairo. Each one beautiful. After being fired, you take 3 weeks alone in Europe. You walk, you think, you do not quit. At Next, you insist the office have a grand piano in the lobby and a professional espresso machine. You are building culture before you build product. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Pixar was not just an animation studio. It was a proof that technology and art could produce something transcendent. The Pixar Brain Trust meetings became famous. No hierarchy, no titles, pure creative honesty. You applied what you learned at Pixar directly to Apple upon your return. The Think Different advertising campaign, launched in 1997, was the internal manifesto as much as an ad. Here is to the crazy ones. The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in square holes, the ones who see things differently. They change things. They push the human race forward. You did not hire an outside agency to write that. You wrote the first draft yourself. The App Store launched in 2008. Developers could sell software directly to iPhone users worldwide. In the first weekend the App Store opened, 10 million apps were downloaded. A new industry was created. 2 million developers. $1 trillion in developer earnings by 2023. You once said you wanted to make a dent in the universe. The dent you made is visible from space. The calligraphy class, the Xerox visit, the Pixar bet. None of these were strategic moves. They were curiosity. You connected dots looking backward that you could not have connected looking forward. He said, "Your time is limited. Do not waste it living someone else's life."